Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's no longer morning, but it is going pretty good so far. Let's take a look at what we did. We drafted, and we already made all of our picks. And now we're going to go through my criteria. I'm pretty good with Phyrexia one as far as like how to play all the cards and the synergies, but it's still worth kind of looking at. We did a little bit of rare drafting by picking up a Kembra, a Gaz, and a Nissa. Um, and we're going to try to play the bombs, I think. Kembra doesn't really fit. I know it's a 2-drop, 2-2. We do have a little bit of equipment synergy, but the idea of splashing a white card is just kind of silly. The gain would be it would be a 2/2 that gets +1/+1 when it comes in because it picks up the pieces of one of these. We would use the 2 life from the mirror, or the Barbed Batterfist or the Hex Gold in order to create like a 3/2 um, or a 4/2, I should say, like a 4/2 with a Batterfist or a Trampler that hits the deck. It's not a bad card to splash. So it is something that's an option, but we would have to lose something to make that happen. I kind of like our current, criteria. We have 14 creatures, 10 non-creatures. Considering that our removal in this deck is all based off of these fight kinds of spells or these growth kinds of instants that will help us sort of, sneak attack and sneak grow up there. Cacophony Scamp giving the extra +1, this thing giving the +2s, this thing giving +4, +4s, Ruthless Perdition giving a +1 and giving the ability to kind of handle the crackback on the +2s, and then Maze's Mantle giving +2, +2s. It wasn't by design, that's just what came our way. That's just what we were able to pick up late in order to create some kind of removal scenario. All we're really doing here is trying to hold the line against Toxic. If you ask me. So 1/3s are really, really good. First strikers, 2/2s are pretty good. It's only on your turn, so you kind of attack into the might a little bit. Um, Armored Scrapgorger is great for slowing down things. So is the Copper Longlegs. You can kind of see like 3, 3, 3 toughness. All those toughness 3s are designed. We could also end up taking something like a Barbed Batterfist and putting it onto an Axiom Engraver and making it a 2/2 or a 3/2, I should say. Scrapgorger could get a little bit of offense with it as well and become a 1/2. I don't like that as much, but Axiom Engraver for sure could be kind of fun. You get +1, -1. I don't know. The Barbed Batterfist doesn't excite me as much in this deck because it doesn't accomplish the slow down, catch the attacks, that kind of stuff. The theory would be that a different 2-drop or 1-drop would be better. This would be the different 2-drop that I would consider. And the reason why we would want to look at the Dune Mover is it's a 2, it'll do 2 damage, right? So it might be able to trade a lot more often. And it sort of secures that next card draw. So if we are going to play lesser cards that are out here, the Batterfist, it's probably not going to survive for too long. But I do like the Batterfist as a way to punch up for things like getting the Armored Scrapgorger into a fight spell, Titanic Growth sort of world, getting a Copper Longlegs into a 2/2 to take out some of the scarier things that are up in the skies. I do see, like, this is just small ball, right? This is all designed to get us through turn 2 or 3. If we can get through turn 3, turn 4 looks really good for us. Turn 5 looks pretty good for us with the Nissa and the Furnace Strider. So, it's turn 8 theoretically for the bombs, but I could live without this bomb, to be honest. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. And I could drop in something like the Dune Mover in order to try to just really depend on the Nissa. We have an interesting win con, though, in the sense that, like, all of these are good damage deliverers with the 3 Skitterfangs that are out there. So we can pop a Skitterfang out there in the early part of the game, use these kinds of things to sneak in some life gain, use these kinds of things to sneak in some, tricks to do some trades and slow everything down. the Skitterfang really spices up what happens over here on this side of the deck. We could even give Death Touch to some of these stuff where, a 2/2 thinks that it can attack for free, and we toss in some Death Touch onto an Axiom Engraver. It catches the 2/2 and kills it. So there's a lot of fun stuff that this can do. So this is kind of like 3 more cards, each with 3 more battle tricks built into them. And so that's kind of the nature of the game, right? We're going to battle trick our way through all of their 1s and 2 drops and their 3 drops in hopes of finding our Nissa and kind of protecting some things that are on the board, to be honest. Nahiri's Sacrifice is a last ditch effort, and we could sacrifice the Graz and toss an 8 Fireball. The other option that we could do is if we've got a Titanic Growth, we could toss a Titanic Growth onto a Cacophony Scamp, and then you can, use that as like a way to be a 5-mana ball that goes to another creature. Or you could, yeah, that's about it. So 4s, 5, and an 8. Those are what Nahiri's Sacrifice really is designed to help get rid of. I have noticed, though, that people like to use things like Mesmerizing Dose on Skitterfangs, the Perdition, that kind of stuff. It's still a 3-mana fireball just sitting there waiting to get cast away. You can remove it after all the counters are done. With Dose, you can still toss the counters around. With some of the other ones, you can't. But let's just assume for a second that there's not much use for it left on the board, one way or the other. You can delete it and turn it into a 3-mana fireball for 2 mana that's out there. And I do think that we're going to see more of that than anything. The Chimney Rabble is also an interesting Nahiri Sacrifice combo because of its mana cost. You cast it, it is a 4-mana 3/3 at that point with a 1-mana body on the side. And sometimes you want to kill something that has 4/4 stats, and you are only a 3/3. And that's what Nahiri's Sacrifice would allow you to do. The other thing Chimney Rabble could do is with 4 different pips, you could get rid of, if they've got a Skrull's Hive, you can get rid of 4 of their little guys that are jumping around, trying to toxic you up. So I'm going to keep Nahiri's Sacrifice as a flexible removal spell. And then as we get later in the game, the things that we're sacrificing are really geared more towards this. It's funny, Graz looks amazing, but everything is a 5/3, right? So the Chimney Rabble's 1/1 that gets left behind is just as much a 5/3 as the Chimney Rabble is a 5/3. So leaving one behind as a way to catch up for Graz can be great. The same thing like I was talking about with the Skitterfang getting chewed up. These guys at 1 and at 2 don't make as much sense as targets for the Nahiri Sacrifice, so it's really looking at sacrificing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different cards, 8 being the absolute worst case scenario. I like it. If we can get the Nissa on the board between the destroy target and artifacts or enchantments, freeing up some things maybe that are sitting on the board on our side. They're using an ossification, they're using a dose, they're using a planar disruption. We can unlock all that kind of stuff. Also, if they happen to have things like a forge, we can use the artifact delivery to get rid of it. And we should keep in mind that there are artifact creatures that we can delete as well that enable a lot of stuff that go out there. So, the Nissa to me has a lot of capability of hitting the deck at turn 5. Using a Mirror Convert, being able to get it up to 5 loyalty and starting to create the Phyrexian 5/5s and 6/6s and 7/7s is just it's going to be tough to beat. It's just too much value. The other aspect is if we do get into a stalled board state, they've got Axiom Engravers, we've got Axiom Engravers, neither one of us really want to attack in and do anything to each other. We can use the ramp strategy between the Rustvine Cultivator and the Armored Scrapgorger to start pumping out 3/3s with our incubation sacks. And what that's going to do, we could even use our Free From Flesh to add 2 more counters to the incubation sack to make 2 more 3/3s. Just kind of continually churning those things out. We could even sacrifice a Copper Longlegs to proliferate across the board, get some more incubation sacks, get some more, the ability to ramp, getting some more Skitterfang shots. We've got oil out there. So there is a light oil theme that kind of runs through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of our cards. Eight of our cards. And so we are a bit of an oily deck as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This has the pro left right, so we'll call it 7, 8, 9, 10. We actually have 10. Yeah. So that's our deck. It definitely has bombs. We're only running 16 lands. The other option would be to lose the Graz and run 17 lands, and that might make it perform a little bit better. It's very evenly weighted between red and black. It's very nicely curved out as far as being, able to handle early threats on the board and do some pretty cool things to help us punch up with some of these early threats on the board, protect their life, allow us to survive through 2s and 3 drops, and then when we get into our upper deck land up here, we're set to sort of end the game. I like it. My MO is we're just going to discard any changes. I don't think we changed anything, but my MO is to practice with the deck just a little bit in the bot matches. And the reason why I like the bot matches is if you go into constructed, you're just going to get run over far too often, and you're going to lose faith in whether you've made good choices or not. If you come into the bot matches, they've been strengthening the bot matches up as time has gone on. At least they feel stronger to me than they used to. And it'll teach you things like this, like, is this a good hand to keep or not? We could have tossed the Cacophony Scamp out, but he was blue. He wasn't putting anything on the deck, so there wasn't a desperate need to get that to happen. Now it's time for us to put something on the board that will help. If this dies, it can proliferate too. There's no reason to block that. I am totally into tossing the Maze's Mantle here on the Cacophony Scamp. We'll get the block. This is exactly what we want to do with our deck. We want to sucker people into blocks. We want to sucker people into making bad choices. And, a 3/3 Cacophony Scamp that throws a 3-mana fireball at whatever kills it. It's pretty good. Okay, so at this point right now, it is Chimney Rabble or Incubation Sac. Those are our two choices. Part of me wants to just do the Incubation Sac. I don't see any desperate need to attack here. There's got a nice blocker that's out there, and I don't see any desperate need to return. That is a lot of defense, right? That is a lot of defense. We do have a green card here. And so if we wanted to make another 3/3, we could with 4 mana, and this would be the 5th mana that we could use for the Rustvine Cultivator. We could also do the Chimney Rabble is a way to get some things on the board, and I kind of think whatever makes the board wider is the right answer. Nothing against using the Incubation Sac now, but there's just no necessarily need for it. Nothing at risk if we were to attack, except for the fact that they would need to block 1, 2, and then a 3rd one, and everything hits for 3 here. So I do think that we get an opportunity to either squeeze in 3 damage or do that, but nothing wrong with that. Okay, second green also opens up Nissa's capability that's out there. These things are doing 1 damage all the way across, so we'll just block 1. And we consider, at the end of their turn, after they fought, we'll consider getting an opportunity to toss in our Rustvine Cultivator to ramp it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different mana costs, and this one would be 7. Allowing us to cast Nissa at full strength and allowing us to pop her right off the bat. I like that more. If I can get the extra body on the deck right now, I like it more than trying to mess with this board or do anything crazy. The more go wide we go in this strategy, the better. We're going to say no attacks. We're going to say end turn. They should be confused at this point. We could have attacked again. I just didn't want to tempt fate. And the walls have arrived. Okay, so past 2 attackers, we see what they do on the attack. We're going to let that go. Past damage. And then we're going to come to our stop, and we're going to, use this and resolve. Now, yeah, there's a Lattice Blade Mantis. I get it, but it doesn't make sense, right? So watch this. We go boom, 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 and unfortunately, we only are going to have 3 green mana to play with, right? So we're going to cast this out. We're going to have to do this to make this work, unfortunately. So we say that. She hits the deck with 5 loyalty. And we're going to plus, because for us to get the win here, what we're going to want to do is focus. There's just not a lot of damage that's starting here. Let's put some of these 3/3s on there, and let's see if we can. Oh, dude, the value that they get out of their little bounce spells is sometimes just insane to me. That's okay. Having a 6/6 on the board is important. What's more important, having this get up to 7 loyalty. I don't think that's going to happen, though, unfortunately. Well, actually, they all went face, so I'm good with that. Okie dokie, artichoke, here we come. I think we go wide. And I think we continue to go wide. And I think that I'm less concerned about that. And then as far as attacks are concerned, these 2 damages aren't going to make or break us. They're only threatening 4 over here. So we're going to do this one more time. We're going to decline. It would be a neat way to save Nissa's life. We would lose this, but it would become a 3-mana fireball, and it would take that out. Overall, the value is there to do this. The question is, do we need it? 7? No, we don't need it. Let's do it. We blow it up. We proliferate 2. We blow you up. And overall, I think it's pretty positive on the return. Okay, nothing much necessary here. Gonna plus across the board there. I'm gonna say next and all attack, and I think Trample wins the game here, right? That's fine. Minus 25. Yeah. Yeah. I think we swung for 30 or 40. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Now, are we always going to get that much opportunity and time to play the Nissa that way? No. I would suspect that our board looks half this size and that we were having to probably get some removal spells against things like the Golem. We did lose one of our 3/3s that's out there. The other aspect of it is it only gave us 3, but it gave us Trample. So, 6/6s, 4/4s, 5/5s with first strike. Pretty difficult when you're dealing with all of them at the same time. I liked it. Did I love it? No. I would like that to happen on a faster timeline. I'm looking to see if there are some things we can do to speed this up. 2 Armored Crop Gorgers in this deck, and unfortunately, all of our ramp cards showed up at the same time. We'll still keep it because it's kind of a cool run here. We're still ramping. They don't have anything on the board, so their mono red is sitting dead. That's okay. Okay. Could do these 2 right now, or I could ramp with the Scrap Gorger. We do have some things in there, and the sack just doesn't do us anything right now. So I think these 2 are a better combo than these 2 or this by itself. So let's go. I kind of forgot. I can use it now. Well, that's value. right? Ooh, we're going to take a little bit of damage every time they attack now, which kind of blows, but that's okay. We have the ability to toss a 3/3 out on the incubation sack. I think that we would do it with, well, probably the same one, right? Like if we can get this thing up to 3/3, we're in a better spot. So, sack attack. I like that. Gives us card advantage too. If we were down a card, you know, because we had to play something, it's a little different world than where we are now. Next to combat, next to attack, no attacks. End turn. Cacophony Scamp's good, but I've got ideas. My turn. Okay. Putting our Skitterfang out right now, where the most we could do is maybe give our 3/3 flying. Not super exciting. Getting another 3/3 on the board is a better board state for us. Yeah. Is it only there from a graveyard? Oh, I don't have anything left in the graveyard. Okay. All attack here would be an interesting way to clean up the board and put us in a pretty good spot. We would be losing 2 bodies at its worst case scenario. The other thing we could do is just attack with the Cacophony Scamp and try to get a 2-for-1 out of it, which I think I like. Yeah. Just a lot easier to deal with, especially with the raid bombardment. Them getting an opportunity to continually kind of peck at us. Just bleh, bleh. Alright, if we use the incubation sac right now, it is our last 3/3, and it also puts us in a situation where, unfortunately, we don't know what to do after that with this thing. Like we didn't pick up the Gleeful Demolition, which would have been really neat. It's an artifact, delete it, turn it into 3 of these 1/1s. Would really be a fun way to make that happen. The Traxxas Skitterfang we could use to fly a 3/3 over the top, which is good. I think I'm okay attacking and losing a 3/3 at this point, just to clean that board up again and start to create our own 3/3s, considering that there is now a couple things in the graveyard that can get that done. So I would, in this situation, put the maximum pressure, toss the Chimney Rabble, go to next, and attack with all. At least attack with that. And the reason why we attack with this is because it will pick up 1 more from the deletion, and it'll become a 3/3. So all 3/3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Swinging for 15. Yeah, that's fine. What you got? We lost. Our Batter Fist, which of all the things to lose is the least concerning for us. We could stick it on there, get rid of that, add a counter, make her into a bit of a threat. Whoo! Nothing else for the 1/1 to do, and that is lethal on the crackback. Okay. You're going to be a 3/3 if we choose to attack with you. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 again. I kind of like the idea of tossing the Skitterfang out at this point. Or anything else. Going next. Going, take the action. Who would I like to keep? I think that this is a mana dork, as a 3/3 is better than these kind of do nothing 3/3s. So we're just going to give you flying. Okay? We'll click next, we'll click all attack. Lethal. Much, much better. Right? Turn 6. Keep the pressure on him. Way above lethal. Really utilized our cards much better. Now, we do have to remember we aren't going to have 2 Scrap Gorgers. We're only going to have 1. So not going to have quite as much of that ramp capability, but there were quite a few times where the mana wasn't the deciding factor. And I kind of liked how we curved through 1 all the way to 3 and 4, and that was enough. 2/2 drops, a 3 drop, and a 5 drop. You wouldn't brick yourself in cards to fix that and try to get the 1 drop. The 1 drop is just not worth it, right? I like that 1 drop of all the 1 drops more, just because it can help make sure that the next few cards that we get are the cards that we're looking for. Specifically, if we don't draw a mana, it's okay. But we did. So, never didn't have it, right? Cool stuff here. Skitterfang's going to do some things, but I would rather it come out a turn later, I think. And then I get an opportunity with 4 mana to cast these 2 things. Okay, so I guess as far as mana efficiency is concerned, she's out. We click next. And we're going to decline. And we're just going to attack. Take the free damage. There's nothing here that I want to clean out. Maybe on the next draw we'll do it, but maybe not. Okay, 4 mana, 2 2/2s that we can cast along the lines. Not much that we can do to block this damage situation coming up, but there is some things we can do to fix the health of our creatures that show up. I like the idea of maybe Batter Fisting and then swapping the Batter Fist over to the Axiom Engraver, giving it that lethal. Equip it here, giving it lethal as a 2/2. Going next. Take the action. Give it... I think we give it lifelink. And then we just attack with that. It's a good trade. We still have the Batter Fist. We still attach it back. We still have the 3/1 that we can use. Just a very useful way for us to upgrade that engraver to turn it into something that essentially acts like it has reach and lifelink at the same time. Pretty cool. Okay, next is either the Halberd and the Scamp or the Furnace Strider. I think it's a no-brainer at this point in the board. We really want the Furnace Strider. We click. Yeah, we stick. Yeah, we go to next. We say, take it. And what we're going to do is send, what do you think? We're going to send some lifelink onto you. Okay? Click next, go all attack. I shouldn't have attacked with my Skitterfang. Okay, let's find out. Why the damage didn't do this, I don't know. They should have taken out the Skitterfang, but whatever. I messed up. Certainly something to remember. Furnace Strider's still there. We don't have the mana to do anything with it, but we will in the next turn. We only have 3, and we've got 5 over here. It would be a very awkward draw at this point to get our Nissa. It's fine. That means the Batter Fist really does need to hit the Furnace Strider if we want to put the lifelink control back up to it. If we don't, and we just want to fly over the top, we can just use the Skitterfang's last little deal to make that work, and I think that's probably the right answer. Neither of these accomplish anything. So, drop the Batter Fist onto the Furnace Strider, send the Traxxas Skitterfang up with, what do you think, like Vigilance, right? Because it's not really at risk of dying, and I'm fine with it attacking and then being able to catch the block on the backside. Although Skitterfang's here to block. Vigilance might not be the right way. I think lifelink is the right way. Yeah. So, attach. Next. Take it. Put the lifelink on it. Go next. Go attack with just you. Really nice round for us on there. Plenty of mana for us to accomplish. But if you can't, it's okay. So theoretically, we would put the Barb Fist over here in order to make this into a 3/1 first striker with trample, and that is actually on our turn a better attacker on the way in. But it's going to be their turn, so we don't have to do it right now. We can let the mana expire. It's fine. It's okay. That doesn't change much for us on the board state. I think we're attacking in. If they sell out, they can do a total of 3 damage to our Furnace Strider, and that's fine. So we'll go next. We'll say, what do you think? If we attack with the Cacophony Scamp, it can take out the Water Shaman. I like that. This has got First Strike, can take out quite a bit of stuff. I think if we all attack here, leave the Skitterfang back, although it's just a 2/2 at this point. What are we afraid of? Right? We're not afraid of that. So we'll click 4 attackers. They could theoretically jump, and they could kill or negate, take some damage. But the board state would really suck, and we would also be able to do 2 for 1 here. So Cacophony Scamp's going to get hit by this, and this thing's going to trade with that. And this thing's going to hit that and not go anywhere. So they're going to take 5 to the face. That's not the decision I would have made. It is the better answer on how to handle the Cacophony Scamp. Choose any target to drop your 1 piece of damage. Just go to face at that point, right? We use this to catch back on that side, and we say, end turn? I'm Ron Burgundy? Yeah. We got to get rid of the turtle. The only way to do that is to keep the Batter Fist on the Strider. Just kidding. Goodbye. And this is what I mean by these opponents aren't completely inept. They're not the fastest moving, but Limited doesn't have the fastest moving all the time, right? What could we do here? Maybe that. But it's not going to let us do it. Okay, this is good. Gonna get real hard. We could use this on that just to give us an extra attacker. Pop this over onto, let's say, here as a first striker. Kind of like, well, shoot. It's better here. Yeah. Click next, go to all attacks. The only reason is because it drops him down to 1 damage, and that 1 damage would be enough to take out the first striker. So they block what they can. They can't block enough. We win. I think we're ready. Let's do the real thing. I think we've had enough practice. We played some of the small ball. I think that we're in a good spot to go into this draft. 5,000 free gold. What we picked up was 1 mythic rare, 1 rare that we needed, and a second rare. So we got 3 packs worth of rares so far. We spent 5 packs worth of gold to get into the front door. So we'll just say discard those changes. That's fine. Go back to the event. Done messed it up. So what does that mean? That means that we're missing 2 packs worth of stuff. If you can get to here, you get 1 pack and then enough gems to buy 1 pack with a 25% chance of getting a second pack. So all we really, on a minimal side of things, are hoping for is 2 wins before we get to 3 losses. What would be my expectation for this deck, because I feel like this deck will perform and will perform great. I think this is the most likely place where we land. A 30% chance at a second pack, 450 gems going back, kind of boosting our gem total up by about 10% overall. And if we can make it to something like this, it's just so gravy. We're so happy. So 4 wins is our goal, and these are our dreams. Let's see what we're doing. We're going up against Phyrexia All Will Be One dedicated drafters. people who, even when there is a really, really fun draft format that's sitting off to the side, are still hoping to acquire and play because they feel like they've got the better advantage in the Phyrexia all will be one pool. This is a me kind of piece. Let's see. Well, they're going to be good. They're going to be real good. And their decks are going to look real good because the bots don't draft well. And so this is sometimes like you kind of run into a buzzsaw at times. Dirtum Gert. What did we get? We got a 2-drop that on its turn does well, and a lot of land and a bomb. Not the kind of hand that I feel like has to be mulliganed, but we're going to want to draw. Opponent gets a chance to go first. So we're going to get an extra card to draw, and hopefully it's one of, the statistics say we only have a 1 out of 3 chance of it being a land. So 2 out of 3 chance of it being something that's not a land, and, above or below the 2-drop slot wins for us. Literally the worst card we could have seen. Only thing that's going our way is that there aren't a lot, besides Tyvar stands, there aren't a lot of these. That's really weird too. Okay, so I feel better already. Number 1, blue-green, not amazing. Okay. Number 2, using your augury before you attack when you know you've got the chance to put that on there, huge missed opportunity. Like, huge missed opportunity. We will be taking some more toxic, okay? No doubt about it. I'm expecting a spell here, like a Tyvar stand, and then I'm expecting an attack and going to corruption at that point. Unfortunately, I got to assume that he's just sitting on a bunch of spells that help protect his guy. So I've got to assume that the indestructibility is coming my way. I could be wrong. He keeps the Tyvar stand available, right? I got an idea. So Ruthless Perdition is good. Maze's Mantle might be a better drop on their face kind of deal, but we've got to get him to get rid of that, and we are going to get really toxic out here pretty quick. I would rather put the body on the deck. If I do it like this, and I put the body on the deck, I might be able to just guarantee the catch, right? I think we just put some damage on it. They're at 4 damage, we're at 2, so we're behind a little bit. This is a tricky card to get around. It definitely can have some spells. I mean, I just have to assume that they're coming. So catching with the Axiom Engraver, and then getting the Axiom Engraver killed by the Tyvar stand, right? But it gets it out of there. And that's just kind of crazy. Next thing we can do is, now that that's done, we can delete that card. Yeah, I get it. But it's gone. That is amazing, right? Getting rid of that with only 4 on there, pretty solid. I think we just take the attack, right? The Titanic Growth can be utilized more for like the next toxic card that's coming our way, and it's gonna be pretty big. Okay. Hasty gonna drop 3 on us. Gonna be really tough on us without something to do. I can't attack at this time unless something like this comes up, in which case I suddenly can attack. And so I think we run the Nissa out. I think we use the ability to maybe chump it with... Wow. This is worth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total mana. 5 total mana spent. We're going to lose 4 life. We're going to grab Nissa, and we're going to go with this to create the kind of blocker. I worry a little bit about another Tyrannix Atrocity hitting the deck, because we just can't take another hit like that. So we have to hold off on that, unfortunately. We have to consider the assault. Yeah, it's getting scary now. It's getting real scary. Okay. Okie dokie. I do believe we're in trouble. I do believe that another one of these destroy artifacts aren't going to do anything unless any of this was enchantments. So we don't have a lot of choices here of things to do. We need bodies, right? We are full of tricks, but the number one trick is going to be how to avoid, like, there's no reason for them to do anything. The best we can do is just try to continue to catch their attacks every chance we can get and hope. The Titanic Growth might be able to take out the Assault, and that might look like an attractive thing to do for them. So we'll click next, and we'll just attack with 1, assuming that we can block both of the toxic attacks. But that might be game. Like, we might not have much answer here. We can threaten a lot here. Turning him into a 4/4 first striker makes him much stronger, and also hexproof. Putting a 3/3 body on the board isn't as important, so I think that's where I want to go. I like the idea of making him a constant threat. And what's missing that most people don't know is that Titanic Growth on a Trampler at 4/4 could suddenly be a really nice threat. We just need him not to have 2 different spells to attach onto his 2 different creatures. That's good. I know we're going to take 1. Now he's got 1 spell. On the next turn, we really need to try to get lethal here. See? He picked it up. Resolve, proliferate, concede, game over. Shame. The Venerated Rot Priest just perfectly drawn into the all of that was just like absolutely perfectly done and curved out. We didn't do bad on here, but unfortunately, the best we could hope for was a mistake on their end, and they did. They made 1 mistake. It wasn't enough for us to handle the fact that they had the cards. Get yourself a Venerated Rot Priest. Get yourself a lot of wins in here. There's not a lot of good ways to deal with that, unfortunately. Okay, we're 0-1. I don't think our deck did perform bad on there. It wasn't like we got frustrated out on the draw or any of those kinds of things. So I'll take it. All 3 Skitterfangs. Okay. Weird hand. Going up against Platies, huh? I think we gotta go throw the convert out. So I'm thinking toxic and I'm thinking removal. We got 3 different colors here. We ended up with viral spawning across the board. That's fine. Yeah, he'll get the toxic on us. Unfortunately, we are bricking and our mana dork got killed. Again, another perfect drop on the board. This sucks. I shouldn't have kept the hand. This is on me. I can't attack into that. I got a chump block to keep toxic down. It's okay. Oh, thank God. Okay, Scrap Gorger is a better blocker, especially if we're just dumping it, right? Not much of a reason to put that on there. So, let's click next. End. One, two, three, four, five, six, I've missed so much mana at this point that this game's already over. It's already over. There's just nothing I can do. There's nothing that works in my way at 3 mana. And you cannot keep a 2 mana hand. That's what I've decided. That sucks. The draw got us hard on that one. We'll go back in. This was a great deck. This is just not what this deck should have done. I don't know why. I don't know why I kept the 3 Skitterfang hanging. I called it out. I knew it was a problem, and I messed it up. I'm sad. All right, we're back to work after this if we lose. So, could be a short stream. Could be a short one. Let's see. 2 Titanic Growths, 1 Rustvine Cultivator, 2 Land Hand. Do we want to do what we just did again? No. We have to take a mulligan. We don't have the mana to cast anything that we could cast until turn 4. There's just no chance at accepting that. We're going to keep 6, and we're going to dump Raz back into the library. Hello. Please be kind. Okay. We'll go with green. Not working. He doesn't have anything to put those things on, so we do have another chance to go. We could lose the 2 life and cast the... I'd much rather try to go for the draw here. Unfortunately. Is getting a Cacophony Scamp out right now worth it? No. So we'll just click next, no attacks. Enter. I could have attacked with the Mirror Convert, but I really need the mana, because if we don't, we're just down to casting a Cacophony Scamp and nothing else. So unfortunately we need the Mana Dork more than we need the trade or the 2 damage or whatever the case is. This is a really good card, the Plague Nurse. We don't really have the kind of removal necessary. But we can put some pressure on them with a bit of a 3-3 and a 1-3 attack. We won't have much else to do after that. They're just going to cover it up. Not really going to change the board state the way I want it to. If I toss out Scamp, it can block Skitterfang, but Mirror Convert could also trade out with that. Unfortunately, we're going to lose Copper Longlegs to Plague Nurse if they all attack, or Plague Nurse is just going to get flying and come in over the top, right? So we let them have 2 damage, and then we swing back, threatening 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that better? Yeah, I think that's better on the next turn. We put this out there in the mirror match. And Scamp would be a better, for us, it would be a better blocker, I think. In case they choose to do it. There's nothing here that I'm looking at saying like, "Ooh, we've got to get that done." So we'll say no attacks. And recognize that we'll be trading Plague Nurse for Copper Legs if they don't do the Skitterfang stuff. And if they do, we'll be taking the 2 damage. And then we will be attacking all in with Scamp and Long Legs and the block, what the Skitterfang can do. The Cacophony Scamp can get sacrificed, proliferate, bring it all back. We're also going to bring in the Chimney Rabble. So we won't be attacking in with the Convert. We will be taking another 2 damage. That should bring us down to 13 on ours. But we should be swinging back in for maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. It's quite a bit. That's the equivalent of 6 damage to us with the toxic situation. But I'm not overly concerned, believe it or not, even on that kind of clock, because I think I can beat them in a race. And they're going to find that out when the Chimney Rebel hits the deck. Yeah. We knew that was coming. That was a weird dose decision to make. I'll take it, but I think that popping out a Furnace Strider right now, they can't lose the Skitterfangs. They can't block any of it. So 2, 4, 5, plus that is 9. We could be threatening lethal on the next turn. Yeah. Here we go. Furnace Strider gets out there. Cancel. Furnace Strider maybe comes out on the next turn. Right? Definitely take the action. Definitely pop it onto, what do you say, like here? Right? Definitely give it Vigilance, maybe? Yeah, I think I'll give it Vigilance. That's fine. And then we'll all attack this. And if they want to trade Skitterfangs, I'm happy. If they want to trade Mere Convert for the Atraxa, I'm happy. And if they want to do nothing, I'm not going to sacrifice this. It would give us the 1 extra damage on there, but I think we can do that to face next turn and win. Something's going to come up to block, right? This was just in case they threw the hasty guy out there. So we're taking 4, and we have to win on the next turn. They didn't attack. How very, very interesting. I really, really like that situation right now. Unfortunately, we didn't pick up the kinds of things that we need. So let's do the math on this real fast. If we attacked all in, and they wanted to remove, like, our Skitterfang, as an example, they could do a Plague Nurse to Skitterfang block, and we would lose a guy. We could do a Cacophony Scamp to Thrumming Bird block, and we would lose a guy. But the +1 would go to face. Chimney Rabble for 3 would get through. Mere Convert could trade with Skitterfang if it absolutely had to. But I would rather put the pressure on the Furnace Strider. Make them really be in a situation where they can't block. I think that's the better answer, right? So we're going to auto pay this, take the life hit, utilize this for sure, pop Go to next. We're definitely going to take the action. We might as well. And I like the idea of us putting maybe a death touch onto here, making it very difficult to block. Unfortunately, we are only at sorcery speed for that, so we click next and go all attack and keep the pressure alive. I can remove the Thrumming Bird with the Cacophony Scamp on the next Proliferate. They'll eat 9 to face, and Cacophony Scamp won't sacrifice. They'll eat 8 to face, and Cacophony Scamp won't sacrifice. I think that's good. If we get rid of it now, they'll go down to 3 to face. We would be attacking with another Skitterfang or a Halberd if we do it that way, which I kind of like. 1, 2, 3 blocks doesn't kill our stuff. We would have a 4th attacker come into play. I think we do it, right? Yeah, especially because we can just throw the next Skitterfang out and throw the flyer over the top. Is this everything? Are we okay? They can't attack. They can't attack, right? They come in free, we win on the crackback, and they don't have lethal, right? Even if they pop a 3 more toxic, that would give them a total of 6. We would still be fine on there. The reason why the 3 extra toxic would be scary is because they'd have the extra board state, and I think we do it. We go straight to face. Yep. If we can draw 1 more mana, I'd feel a lot more comfortable. Well, that's good. If he attacks with the Thrumming Bird, we win. Throw the Skitterfang, toss it in the air, have it attack. It will take out Thrumming Bird, and they won't have an attack on the way back. They use a removal spell on Skitterfang. I think we're still threatening lethal at that point, especially if we're casting the Halberd, right? Unfortunately, I couldn't have used the trample to get the win. Okay, so he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attackers. I'm still off by a little bit. That's attacker number 6. Yeah. 2 flyers wins the game. I don't know what they could do to win this. 2 flyers, both of them threatening lethal. Not a lot that can get out of the way. Skitterfang City. Go wide. Skitterfang City wins the day. We got our first victory. All right. What a grindy match with Toxic being our nemesis. 3 games in a row, 3 very well built Toxic decks. Just pretty impressive. Like, just gotta really grind our way through and think that out. Hey. Okay. We've got 1 pack and 100 gems back. So the goal was to use our 500 or 5,000 gems, which would have bought us 5 packs, which would have definitely spun the dial and got us some more wild cards and stuff. The goal was to try to do better. It's not looking good. If we get another win, we'll at least break even on what we'd immediately got on the gratification. And the cool part was we got a chance to pick the cards, we got a chance to get the Nissa, get excited, all that other stuff. But on the negative side of things, whew, I thought for sure we'd get to 3 or 4 wins. It ain't happening. Alright. Yay, an opening hand that we like. We like it a lot. Probably throw the Copper Longlegs out as the early card. There's our second force, necessary for our Nissa. We might as well throw this out there. Get a chance to see if the removal spells start showing up. Aren't you sexy? The thing about opening with the Skitterfang, in my opinion, is it's a bit of a mistake. There's not a lot that it does by itself. It's just a 2/2 with summoning sickness, right? And I don't know. I just, boy, that was a little risky with that. I don't know. But my man is, he's blocking. I'm very happy with that. We don't have the tricks necessarily to puzzle that out, but we do have the Nissa. We can put out with 3 loyalty right off the bat. We do have the capability of protecting herself with the loyalty and getting her to come back up. I think that taking the attention off of us and moving it over to Nissa is the better answer right now. Is there anything in there? No, we would just lose that attacker, or that blocker. So we would be using our Copper Longlegs to block this, but Skitterfang is going to send the Plague Nurse right over the top anyway. I think the best hope that we've got is getting that wide board state. Do we have another loyalty? Yeah, no. We get the wide board state out early. Cast her as early as we can, and plus her, and use that. Say no attacks, and let's just see what comes our way. We can block Plague Nurse and kill her. She can fly over the top of us and damage our Nissa quite a bit, but we'll be left with a much, much better board state overall. That's probably the right answer if I'm her. The negative side of that is I will be attacking with a Chimney Rabble and a 4/4, 1/3. Like I've got a lot of things to attack with on the way back in, and there's nothing scary about a branch blight stalker, except for maybe it would take out the 3/3. But I'm okay with that. And if she lets Nissa survive, yeah, I didn't think that was gonna go our way. That's okay. It just keeps all this off of us, right? This is... Yeah, we can jump that. Is that a giant oops? I like having the 5/5 on the back end. Could I go Skitterfang and Titanic Growth here? Yeah. Skitterfang comes in, sends something flying. Flying goes over. We put a Titanic Growth on it. It does a serious amount of damage. And we still have Nissa sitting over there on the side with the ability to... what? We have the 1/1. Well, I guess we use this. We trade out the Skitterfang to keep Nissa alive. This is the other option. We Chimney Rabble and trade Chimney Rabble for Branch Blight Stalker. We get a 4/4 damage across there. I think I'll do Skitterfang sends 4/4 flying. Right? Take it. Stick it. Go flying. Click next. Quick attack. Go next. Put this on there. Go like that. Use our mana. Go all the way. Do some damage. I'm okay with losing Scrap Gorger to Branch Blight Stalker if I have to, but I would probably... let's see. Okay. I think that's fine. You're an artifact. We could just destroy an artifact. You got 2 blockers. Send you flying. Right? Okay, so there's got 5, and they're getting rid of 4, let's say. The question is anything else at risk? And the answer is no. We would lose Chimney Rabble or Skitterfang on the next one. If they choose not to do that, we would be sneaking in, let's say they go here to here, right? That's 9, 10, 11, 12. So they go here to here and here to here, and we lose our Skitterfang, which could slow the board up just enough. I don't think we do that. I think we do that, and we just annihilate their board. I'm fine with that. Putting an oil counter on them is good by me. I don't care about my Nissa anymore. She's done what she needs to do. chump, theoretically. But we won. We got our bomb out early, and we used it correctly, and we did everything that we thought we were going to do. Specifically, we got the copper long legs into the game, and everybody thinks it is the poopiest thing, and it's not. When there's a Skater Fang on the board. We're 2-2. Moving on up. Okay, 200 gems. Would love to get 2 more wins. Can't guarantee it. But deck is finally working. We've had 3 close games out of the 4. And the second game we've had 2 blowouts actually, and it was the second one was because of me, because of what I did. This is beautiful. We've got a later 1-drop that we can attach to something, if we have to. We can curve out, and we get a chance to go first. We're not going to be dumping a bunch of pressure on them with things like the incubation sac, but even if we can't get the additional mana that we're necessarily looking for, we've got a lot of things on the board here to help control the board state. A lot. So let's hope. Let us hope against hope. I totally understand why people don't like this format, by the way. It is so punishing because of the fact that, once you're, if you saw that last game, they never touched us, right? They didn't really damage us. Because once you're on your back foot, it's almost impossible to regain control unless your opponent bricks or makes a mistake. And you just can't depend on your opponent bricking or making mistakes as your only source of a win con. That's not going to work. So, you want to have things like bombs like Nissa and Graz, and you want those things, but you have to very delicately balance them with how am I going to survive the toxic onslaught in the first part of the game. And if the answer is you're not, because of removal spells and very, very cheap highly effective toxic strategies like the Rot Priest one that we ran into in the first, well, then it's just over. It's just game over. Say hello. We'll continue to ramp the ramp. And sure. Nah. I don't think he'll attack with something that has 2 hastes with 1 mana on the board, but it's been done before. So I put a stop right here on just after his attack phase. It looks like he is also ramping, and when we get past the attackers, we put the oil thing on, and then we say past end, and it's back, and we've got ourselves some ramping. We've got 4 total mana, make it 5 total mana, and we've got some things to do here. I think that we're nowhere near these 2 cards being playable, so I think we're tossing our Skitterfang out on deck. I think we're tossing our Scrap Gorger. Is there any reason for us to put the sack out right now? And the answer is yeah. That'll give Mirror Convert the ability to put a toxic on us too. I don't like that. Click next. Say decline. Click next. Last chance to put the sack up. It just leaves, if we're gonna lose one anyway, and we don't have, oh my gosh, I gotta ramp on it to Nissa on the next turn, right? If that's just not the case that we're looking for, there's not a lot of reasons to go after it. You got me. Come at me. there's nothing to do there, so we say no block. That's fine. I like it. It's better for us to not have to deal with that. I think I would rather sack it. Right? We get the 3/3. We could theoretically use a Skitterfang thing to send one thing over the top, but I'd rather just wait on the whole deal. So we'll just say next to combat, and we'll decline. We will consider that this isn't going to be an effective blocker here for us, so we'll just do this now. Say no. We have an effective blocker for the Spore Singer, and she doesn't have her +2 thing anymore. She just gets it on the ETB. This is okay as well. And remember, we're ramping to Gaz, right? So getting too toxic, taking a little bit of damage, but we've got a life gainer necessary should we kill what we need. All of that is moving in our direction. We could hold off on the sack. We could use the Skitterfang to throw the 3/3 in the air in an attempt to make it into a flyer and try to maybe get them to make a bad trade with the Flensing Raptor. And if they choose not to attack it, we could Titanic Growth it and hit them for 7. Which is kind of cool. Doesn't remove anything off the deck. But it does put us in a situation where we still get a chance to sack too. So we say next. We say take it. We're going to stick this guy into the... Is there any reason that he goes into the air? Or what if we just make him a Death Toucher? Or a Lifelinker? Let's make him a Lifelinker, right? Click next. Just attack with him. And let's see what happens. He's a lot tastier of a block for the Spore Singer down there, as you know, preventing a lot of damage. The Titanic Growth would guarantee that like another trick wouldn't come into play. This is just brutal though. So he doesn't do it, and we go to 20, and he goes to 13 now. We do have 1, 2, 3 mana, but this guy takes 4, unfortunately. So that didn't work out in our advantage, and I'm not sure where my... Oh no, we have 4. We have 4 mana. Let's do it. We will remove the oil counter, and you. And we will activate you in order to make that happen. And we will take our lumps. Puts us at 5 mana. Garner a 6th and tap the Cultivator at 7. This is good. He's taking damage. We're not receiving a ton of toxic on the turn. And we got what we were looking for. We could do our final sack here, and we could also cultivate. And what am I afraid of on the attacking side of things? I've got 2 3/3s, and he's only threatening 2 creatures with toxic. I don't mind the damage, so I think that we have nothing in the graveyards. It doesn't help us. We'll just put the on counter on that. We will activate that. We will click next. We will indeed remove an oil counter, and we will stick it on a 3/3, and we will give it what do you think, lifelink? If he wants to take a trade, is there any reason not to attack with the other one? I guess he dual blocks, but I'd be totally fine with that trade. I think that's good. It just puts him in a tough spot. what would be the win con here? We could sack our Skitterfang for his Skitterfang and just keep the toxic level down. I think we do that the next turn if we have to. So we just click end, right? 5, 6, 7. One more mana. And Graz gets a chance to show up. This is one more mana. We have a 39% chance of winning this game on the next turn. That's what we're looking for. Resolve. Putting it on. Yep. Taking 4 damage, taking 2 toxic. The deck like this looked really good in the beginning. You're like, I got all the best commons. This is what they all tell me is the best. Good. And mana. Yes! You are correct, sir. Yeah. Yeah. Take it. Send one of you. Flying. That's fine. Go to next. I'll attack. 5 threes, my friends. 5 threes. We'll lose one of them. It's not the most ideal situation, right? There are theoretically 2 cards, but not in white-green that just, like if it's blue or black, they can use those 2 cards to just give us, you know, toxic out of nowhere kind of thing. Those are both chump blockers. They've just been gone off the board. And we're down to 2. And we are attacking with, we're swinging for 5 times 5 is 25, plus 7 is 32. I think he's attack only, no block, right? Yeah, that's fine. You only have 4 blockers. GG. This is fun. Watch this. We're going to do this for 1. Oh, no. Cancel. Never mind. No, we're not going to touch all that. We just attack in. We remove this. It's not going to change anything. I think we're going to lose 1 more creature. You can't let a single one get by. You're going to just get your board wiped. We did the thing! We did the thing with the guy who does the thing with the big thing! We did that! Haha! Okay. New goal. Terra Sunder. Actually don't have a lot of copies of that card. That's pretty cool. We did it to here, which is great, right? We thought that getting to 300 or getting to 500 on this deck was kind of like a base case scenario, and it turns out we were right. There are not a lot of things I would change about the deck at this point right now. The lack of removal makes that big whiteboard state, you know, scary, but then having a necessary Gaz on the back end of it really helps out a ton. I think that walking out here with 330 gems and 3 rares is pretty good. Would really be 4 rares because of the fact that we would have the pack and a 25% chance at another pack. And again, we spin the dial on those packs too, so we get, you know, the wild cards and stuff like that. I think I'm I'm satisfied. Let's keep going. I really want to get to 4 or 5 wins to prove that the deck was good and that it was just a really, really bad choice on my part that put our back against the wall. We've gone 3 in a row now on the win column. Um, and they've been good games. They've actually been really fun thinkers and, kind of plan out all of our little moves and stuff like that. I'm not the kind of player that just shoots from the hip all the time, and I think that that's a good thing. Unfortunately, I'm also not a player that sees all of the interactions as quickly as some of the guys that I see stream. They are like, oh yeah, no, I got that here and there. Like, oh, that goes there, and that's all good. 3 mana, Incubation Sac, Rustvine Cultivator. Only way this hand could go negative is if it doesn't have a green, but it does. This is great. We are super curved out. I don't think we could be happier. Turn 1, Rustvine Cultivator is so good. Turn 2, Mirror Convert allows a turn 3 Rabble under the current circumstances. We take this all day long. I would block the Skull Dweller if he chooses to attack it. That's fine by me. We like ramp. We got a bit too much of it right now. Okay, it changes the plans a little. It's a really, really good blocker. So casting a 4-mana guy at this moment right now, it doesn't take us where I want to go, right? I could Lattice Blade Mantis it, cost myself 2 life, leave myself open, and we got a Death Toucher who could kill whatever that would be that is attacking. That's just not good. On the flip side of things, I could Chimney Rabble, lose the offensive capability of the card in order to just have a chump blocker on the way back to try to create a race between the two of us. But I see the black-green toxic deck as one of like control on the board state, and one that I think I would be more comfortable with keeping it slow against. If I throw the Incubation Sac here, I don't attack there. If he wants to attack with this creature, I'm willing to let that go by. I don't think I'll have a choice about it now. It's going to hit me for 2. Okay, we are flooded. That's not the end of the world, considering that we can just utilize our Incubation Sac to go cardless, right? The other option would be, since we enters the battlefield with 2 oil counters on it, and then we can turn it into a 5/4 attacker. I think this is a good trade against the Basilisk, if it ends up coming down to that. I also think the Mirror Convert is a good trade against the Raptor. And so, in a weird way, I'm just going to try to continue to trade this over. He's probably not looking to use the Ichor Spit Basilisk anymore on offense, unless he does that. That's interesting. Alright. So, remember we wanted to really utilize the Chimney Rabble's offensive capabilities, right? I think I would just trade this. The Mantis is just another body, and being able to avoid all of that is just worth a ton. Skitterfang is, I don't want to say muted, right? But that's 5, and this is 6, this is 7. I could not risk the convert, slow it down just a little bit more. Yeah. I think we do this. I think we throw the Chimney Rabble out, and I think we attack. Okay, so he doesn't know that I've got a Graz, right? He doesn't know I'm trying to go wide. All he knows is he's got toxic delivery plans. And so we're at 2, he's at 2, we're at 16, he's at 13. I feel like we're holding the nuts on the back end side of things as far as cards are concerned. I can chump block. I can't. That's actually going to change things quickly. So this is 6, and that is 7. We have to survive. We have to survive. He's threatening 4 more toxic, and that will put us at 6, and that will give him lethal on the next turn. Graz isn't going to be enough. I got to get rid of the assault. Damn, I got the card too that I need for Graz to show up next turn. How do I survive? How do I survive? I can't. I think we just lost. The only way is if he makes... a mistake? Boy, Toxic is just rough. Tyrannix Atrocity. Boy, having a fight spell would have been huge. But it's okay. We got 300 gems. We got a pack. We claiming that prize. Let's take a look and see what we got. The pack opens up and gives us another wild card. Spins the dial. We get closer to mythics. Geth. Yay. No, we're just trying to complete the set at this point. Taking 5,000 gems essentially that you get for free, turning it into 330 gems that you don't get for free that kind of define your ability to draft. I think is just worth it. Like I think that that's a decent rhythm. If you have maybe 2 accounts and you just get your free gold, you should be able to accomplish a quick draft on an almost every other day basis if you'd like to, and that will give you an opportunity to sort of build out sets, convert side by side kind of thing. I like it. I think that we probably want to delete some stuff. Like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I have no idea if that would work. I don't think it would. Interesting. It's fine. I don't think I would keep it, but it's fine. Reanimate shell, Vika shell, definition of control, mind splice shell. Store just has the stuff, and I think we're calling it a day. All right, guys.